Reforms restore headache. Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. As always, it is appreciated. Rupert Lowe has announced that Restore Britain is going to be fielding a candidate in the Makerfield by-election that Andy Burnham is expected to run in, which has been triggered because a Labour backbencher is renouncing his seat. So I've got some thoughts on this, and I've got some additional information which I'm going to get into in the video. First thing is on the 18th of June. So as I mentioned in a previous video, Keir Starmer's pulled the trigger on this earlier rather than later. And so it looks like he's not too concerned about staying in the job. Okay. I think that the video that he put out ahead of the Unite the Kingdom rally was to toxify the Labour brand to make sure Andy Burnham doesn't win. I still think he won't win. But there's some more information. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to read this information out from Rupert Lowe. Restore Britain will be standing a candidate in the Makerfield by-election. There is an overwhelming demand from local members to do so. I entirely agree. Our campaign has already started. We aim to win thousands of votes. More news soon. This is the crux of the matter. This is a bottom-up movement, not a top-down movement where you get edicts from on high. I am a Restore Britain member. I do have a Reform UK MP, so I've got some interesting insights into what's going on. People want change. They don't necessarily want Reform UK. Many people may be voting for Reform UK basically because it's not the Tories and it's not Labour. Not necessarily because Reform UK has done anything in particular to earn their votes. The grassroots of Reform UK, many of which I know, especially in my area, are disenfranchised and disillusioned with what Reform UK has been doing since they ejected Rupert Lowe. Alright? That's just in my area in the north in Cheshire. Your mileage may vary in your area. I don't claim to speak to anybody outside of my area, and I don't claim to speak for anybody but myself. I'm just giving you my thoughts on what's going on. Now, in terms of would I have stood a candidate, me personally, if I was a decision maker making that decision in this by-election? Me personally, no. I think it's too soon. However, I am a believer in democracy, and I am a believer in local areas deciding the priorities of their area and what's going to happen. So if the good people of Restore Britain and Makerfield have decided to put up a candidate in their area for this by-election, more power to them. More people need to get involved in politics, and this needs to be happening all over the country. That is my particular view. I don't think Andy Burnham will win. There are many people online that are saying that they're going to split the right-wing votes. They're going to split the votes, and it's going to cause major problems, and Andy Burnham's going to get in by the back door. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Nobody is entitled to your votes, and there's no such thing as a safe vote. Every vote should be fought for on the policy and on the detail. This is the thing. This is what was brought up, so I'm going to bring up this information now. Okay, we'll do this one first. If you look at Great Yarmouth and the voter turnout, the people that were turning out for Restore Britain, a lot of them were people that weren't inclined to vote. This is a lot of people that are engaging in the political process for the first time in years, or maybe for the first time ever. Alright? So this is the thing that you need to think about. Who's going to be voting for Restore Britain? You may skim a few from Reform UK, maybe more than a few. But many of the people who are going to be voting are going to be voting for the first time, or the first time in decades, maybe the first time since Brexit, if not longer. And then we look at this from Jack Hadfield. If Andy Burnham slips through the middle and becomes PM and grants all of the Boris wave arrivals indefinitely to remain, the blame will be solely with Restore Britain. Again, that's not going to happen. That will not happen. Andy Burnham is not going to win. He is not well loved up in the north. He's just not hated like Keir Starmer. A lot of people are echoing the same talking points here. You're going to split the vote. You're going to split the vote. It doesn't cut any mustard anymore. It really doesn't. Democracy means everybody should be represented, and whoever wants to stand as a candidate should be able to stand. What the test is here, there's a couple of tests. Okay, if you look from the Labour side, they want to see if it's a toxicity with their brand, or specifically with Keir Starmer. Are people turning away from Labour simply because Keir Starmer is the leader, or are they turning away from Labour because they don't like what Labour is selling them? I think it's the latter. If you change the leader, Burnham won't be Prime Minister in 2029, even if he got in as an MP and as interim PM until the next election. I honestly think that's not going to happen. I think people are barking up the wrong tree with that. But if you look at what I'm interested in more as a Restore Britain member, and somebody who's sympathetic to a lot of Reform UK members and the good people who are still with Reform UK, is what happened in Great Yarmouth, where they captured nearly 46% of the votes. Is this specifically isolated to Great Yarmouth, or is it scalable on a national level? This is the question before the jury. I think it is scalable, and I think it can be scaled on a national level. But again, even if Restore Britain do win this seat, this is chicken feed, this is child's play. It's different pooling all of your resource into one constituency, like they did for Great Yarmouth first, or pooling all of your resource into a single constituency, like they're going to do up in Makerfield, to a national election campaign where you're fielding 650 candidates and your resources are going to be finite and they're going to be split over 650 constituencies. So this is an interesting test. I'm glad that it's coming sooner rather than later, to be honest, because inquiring minds need to know. Now you let me know, do you think Restore Britain have done the right thing here? As I say, the local branch, that's their decision and they've taken that decision. Nobody's entitled to your vote. Nobody's entitled to tell you you can and you can't stand a candidate. And if the local team have decided to do it, well, more power to them. Now, if you like this video, like and subscribe. You let me know, do you think Makerfield Restore Branch have made the right decision, or do you think, as many of the commentary are saying, they're going to be splitting a vote? Like and subscribe, do all of that great stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day.